Hello, in today's video we'll be replacing the tie rod ends on a Chevy Malibu, which is a similar process to removing them on the majority of vehicles out there, so I hope this video will be very helpful and informative. We'll start by removing the wheel, but before that, removing this cover, which is held on by these 5 plastic lug nut caps. Before lifting it, we'll want to loosen all 5 lug nuts while it's on the ground, at least half a turn, using a 19mm socket and a long ratchet to do so. Once we got them all loose, we can use a jack to lift it till the wheel's off the ground, followed by using a jack stand for support. Remove all the lug nuts, followed by the wheel. Now giving us full access to our tie rod. Using a 21mm wrench preferably, although I'm using a 13/16, we'll want to loosen the jam nut. Sometimes it's on there really tight, if so just tap the wrench with a hammer to break it loose, but you want to make sure that the wrench is on there good if you do this. Once you got it loose, back it off a little, and then retighten the nut just enough to touch against the tie rod. This will keep our alignment in position for our new tie rod. Using an 18mm socket, we'll want to loosen and remove the nut that holds the tie rod to the spindle. Now just rotate it counterclockwise till you get it off. Unfortunately, it won't always come out this easy though. Take our driver's side tie rod for example. This one's really worn, and with a worn tie rod, it'll be more prone to spinning the whole assembly as we try to rotate the nut off. In this case, what I do is use a pickle fork to jam it between the tie rod and the spindle. As you hit it in with the hammer, it'll wedge it in between, which will put enough pressure to keep it from spinning. Now as you're loosening it, just push down as you rotate the nut off. Using an impact actually works best with this method, but if done with enough force, it'll hold it, allowing you to remove the nut. But this one has this added piece on the bottom to allow you to use an 8mm wrench to hold it as you remove the nut. So for this we'll use an 18mm wrench plus the 8mm wrench, and using the small one to hold the middle as you loosen the nut enough to be removed by hand. And normally when this happens, the tie rod will be detached from the spindle, so just slide it off. Now back to our passenger side. On this one we could try tapping the spindle with a hammer, and normally this works to free it, since it's not on there too tight. When you notice that it hops, it should just be able to slide off at that point. But if this doesn't work, there are other ways to separate it from the spindle. Using a pickle fork for example, like we did earlier, which you place between the tie rod and the spindle, and as you hit it, it should just separate it and pop it out. Or like this tie rod puller, which grabs onto the spindle, and then as you turn the bolt against the middle, it'll eventually pop it free. Once we got them separated, make sure that the jam nut is in position, and then start rotating it off. You'll also want to count the turns that it took to come off. This will serve as a backup in case the nut happens to move out of position. Now that we got it off, this one may not look that bad, but the boot that holds the grease is cracking. On the other hand, the driver's side tie rod is a different story. This is basically what happens when the boot tears. It began to wear out because the grease disappeared, which in turn caused it to wear out, giving us a sloppy steering wheel and play. And these should be replaced in pairs, so if you have one that's bad, you'll want to replace the other. In some cases you may have trouble removing the tie rod, say because of rust on the threads, or if you have trouble loosening the jam nut, many inner tie rods will have a spot to put a wrench, that way you can hold it. This may be useful in those situations. Once we got them out, we'll want to compare the length of our old tie rod to our new one, making sure that they are the same length, which it appears that this one is just like the original, so it shouldn't be a problem. Some tie rods will have a zerk fitting to install on a new tie rod. For those you will have to grease the tie rod once it's installed, but this one is a sealed tie rod, so that means that these come pre-greased and there's no need to grease them. Well, let's get this tie rod installed by rotating it on, keeping the jam nut from moving out of place, so it holds our alignment. Once in position, let's rotate the jam nut against the tie rod for now. We'll tighten it once we get the tie rod completely on. Remove the nut so we can install it. Then get the tie rod onto the spindle. And install and tighten the nut. Snug it up with the ratchet, pressing down as you tighten it to keep the middle from spinning. If it does spin, just use the wrench method to hold the middle again as you tighten the main nut. And we can now also tighten the jam nut. You will want this to be pretty tight so it doesn't back out and mess up the alignment. If yours came with a lock nut like this one, it will be torqued to 50 foot-pounds of torque. Now if yours came with a castle nut like this one, you'll want to tighten it to 36 foot-pounds and tighten it slowly so you can get the cotter pin into the hole. And then bend it so the cotter pin locks it into position. If your tie rod came pre-greased, you can basically skip this step, but if yours has a Zerk fitting, you'll want to grease the tie rod using a grease gun like this one. And you'll want to grease it just to the point that you begin to notice the boot inflate. Now all that's left is reinstalling the wheel plus the lug nuts. Then tighten and torque them to spec. Well, I hope you found this video helpful and informative. If so, please click that thumbs up button to support my video and my channel. And please subscribe if you haven't done so.